Hi everybody, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to be here. This is my first live stream. This is the first one that we've run on the Adobe Care channel. Today we're celebrating After Effects. The latest release came out last night. We have a lot of really fun things to talk about. The main thing we're going to be talking about today is motion graphics templates, specifically media replacement in motion graphics templates, and how to use that to the best of your ability, how to redistribute them among your community. I'm just stoked to be here with some of the people who work on the product and some of the people who have added to the product, and most importantly, the people who are using the product. So if you don't know me, my name is Caroline. I'm on the Adobe Care team, which means I'm on Twitter, I'm on the community forums. I am the lifeline between the user and the product team. Keep track of issues. I let people know if you've got a problem, I'd love to solve it. I think I've had Vanilla Ice stuck in my head today, so I think that's where that's coming from. Everybody else is laughing at me in the live stream. Let's go ahead and bring some people in. First, I'm going to bring DACIA, who is on our After Effects team. She's a software engineer. Hi, DACIA.
Hi, Caroline. Hi, everybody. Oh, man, that Vanilla Ice drop was everything to me.
It's been stuck in my head all day. How are you doing?
It's so true, though. That's your tagline. It fits so well. Thank you for having us. This is so exciting.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. For those of you who don't know, which I guess is most of you, but I do see some Adobe people in the chat pod, Dacia is known around the office as the little prince of Mogrts. She knows what she's talking about. This woman has an obsession with making After Effects more usable for you, more usable for us. It's fantastic. Hey, Dacia, I have a question for you. What's a Mogrt?
A Mogrt, which rhymes with yogurt.
A little gremlin. It's a little gremlin.
Not a gremlin, Tom Spoda. It is something to make your life easier. We hope something to give you a little taste of the After Effects magic if maybe you're a little too shy or too scared to or overwhelmed when you open up After Effects right away. Something to just reduce your headaches and not make you do extra work over and over again. It stands for Motion Graphics Templates. And the way I like to think about it is that it's like if a more advanced After Effects user went into Home Depot and like picked out and curated a set of tools and gave you this little toolbox that you could then use in Premiere, and you have the ability to make changes and customize and do all kinds of things without having to leave an environment that maybe you feel comfortable in. So that's like for the newbies. I feel like it's like makes something more accessible for y'all to sort of feel like wizards, because that's what After Effects makes me feel like. I think it's the best magic around. And then for those of us that are Swiss Army knives and that do create a lot of content and kind of wear multiple hats, it's a really great way to just streamline your workflows and like I said, reduce the amount of stuff that you're doing all the time. And it's something that's like basically this little After Effects project that you can share around. You can email it, you can Slack it, you can share it through Creative Cloud Library, you can throw it up in the air and hug it. They do so much. They do so much. I learned so much from them, and yeah, I'm obsessed mildly.
Yeah, I can tell.
You're right.
I can tell. Yeah, it's fantastic because especially when you're working on an episodic project, right? And you've got these, like, I'm using a Mogrt for the intros and outros for this live stream because we ran this great live stream series with Valentina V last summer, and our studio team at Adobe built us these gorgeous Mogrts, and if it ain't broke. So so I'm repurposing these, and the use of Mogrts made this so simple just to repurpose it and add our new guests and all these things. It's really helpful for episodic content.
Yeah, not having to go back into After Effects and retype people's names and then re-export that, and then there's a typo, and now I got to go back and I got to redo it. It's like, why? You don't have to do that anymore. Yeah.
I know, it's great. Let's bring in some other folks. We've got Kyle from School of Motion, and we have Tom from our Adobe Stock team. So if you've ever been in the Essential Graphics panel and you go over to the Browse feature, all of those Mogrts that are available for you to use from people like DACIA, that's Tom. Tom's the wizard behind that, right? He's helping. He's playing operator here, trying to get people what they need. Kyle works for School of Motion. We've been working really closely with School of Motion recently, trying to make sure that the people who are like intense Mogrt users are getting the things that they need, trying to make ends meet. Hi guys.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. My name is Tom Spoto. I'm the head of motion at Adobe Stock. And Mogrts, they're not little gremlins. It rhymes with yogurt, though. But I love Mogrts because I sort of look at it from the other perspective. They're a game changer for your video editors and your customers out there who, while I love After Effects and I think it's an amazing program, not everybody is a master of After Effects. So if you're a video editor, and I used to be one for 9 years, I used to look around and be like, where's my motion guy? Where's my motion designer? I need a lower third. And what motion graphic templates do right now is you can go right into Premiere or the stock website and download and integrate your Mogrt right into Premiere Pro, customize it, change colors, opacity, combine them with other Mogrts, and you've got motion graphics in real time right in Premiere Pro. And they're game changers. So I love them, and I work with all the artists around the world to bring in motion graphics and license them on Adobe Stock, the website, and Premiere Pro.
And the world thanks you for it.
Thank you.
Kyle, you got a spiel for us?
I got a little bit of a spiel. So I'm Kyle, and so personally, I've been doing editing and motion design, motion graphics, visual effects, compositing, all that stuff. I'd probably say I'm a motion designer now, but for a long time I was like After Effects guy, generalist as you could be for a long time there. I've always been sort of a technical, like workflow person, and honestly, several years ago I was doing a lot of sports work where we updated player headshots all the time, and I would have killed for some of the features that exist now because I was doing all of it manually, and that's no fun. But I've in addition to just doing the work, I've been like teaching and presenting about this stuff for a while. And then last year I joined up with School of Motion, which is a great, it's a website, a company where you can learn motion design. We have courses that are, session based, and you have live TAs that critique your homework and stuff like that. I've taken courses, I've TA'd several of those courses. I think it's really great. And I love to be part of the team now, so I can help get knowledge out to the motion design industry and, talk about the stuff that I'm nerdy about. It's cool.
Yeah, it's great. You live in the dream. We have a bunch of resources for if you're new to After Effects, if you're interested in Mogrts but you don't know where to start, we have a ton of resources that are going to be periodically dropped in the chat pod throughout this stream. We also have moderators in the chat pod who will feed me and the gang some questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them out. If we don't know the answer, we will connect you with someone who does. And we'll just go from there. I think somebody's got a demo. One of you three has a demo. Raise your hand if you have a demo.
I think I'm the one starting us off here. But
we've got two demos.
We've all got some demos.
Okay, cool. Who wants to go first?
I think me. So
right,
DACIA gave us a little bit of kind of the basis for what we're going to be talking about here, like what Mogrts can be, and making graphics accessible to everyone is definitely a big part of this. And obviously, I want the Adobe folks to talk about this too. I will say that as someone that has done this stuff for a long time, and I was a one-person shop for a long time, finding ways to make my own workflow more efficient is a huge part of this. So if you're a more advanced user, don't think that this is only like, oh, it's just templates for people who don't know how to do it. It can be that, but it can be so much more. It's templates for yourself. It's tools that you build for yourself to make the thing that you do every day in 20 clicks be 1 click now, or one thing to change. So just keep that in mind as we dive into this. So I'm going to kind of show you the basics of how you can use these in Premiere and how you can build a very basic one in After Effects. And then I'll be turning it over to DACIA to actually show you like the really cool, exciting stuff. If you want to, I actually gave a Max presentation this year on this exact topic. So I believe that's a link we're going to drop in the chat here. And you will be able to hear me talk about this for like half an hour straight. So if you just can't get enough of this today, then you can follow that.
If this isn't enough, I'm also gonna right before you start, Kyle, I want to let people know that like if we're going too fast for you, if you want to see something a second time, if there's a detail that you miss, like those are the things that we're here to hand straight to you on a silver platter. So just let us know. All right, take it away.
Totally. Cool. So I built some slides here in After Effects, like every totally normal person does, right? So as DACIA already said, like, what is this Mogrt thing, right? It's a term that some of us throw around. It's kind of a weird word. So it means motion graphics templates. And these are just templates that can be applied in either Premiere Pro or in Rush, under the right conditions. And they can be great to use for dynamic animated titles, to make transitions, graphs, kind of whatever your imagination can see. Now, obviously, we're going to show you some possibilities here. You can download them directly from Adobe Stock, or you can create your own. It's a great way to give simplified controls and ease of use, either for someone else or for yourself. It makes motion graphics accessible to people of all skill levels. Someone who's barely ever touched After Effects before or never touched it can use something more complicated, and you can determine how specialized the controls are. They're really great for things that you use all the time. Great way to save your own time and work more efficiently just with yourself. They are their own file type. It's .mogrt, and they're created in Premiere Pro or After Effects. We're going to show you a little bit of both today, but they're usable only within Premiere Pro or Rush. Also, just an important thing to note is that in most cases, it doesn't actually require that you have After Effects installed on your system. There are some exceptions to that, but if you're someone that only uses Premiere, you don't use After Effects, most of the time you don't even need to have AE installed. So let me just hop over to Premiere real quick here. And if you've never touched one of these before, this is like super basics of them. So you're going to have this Essential Graphics panel in Premiere. If you don't see it, just go up to Window, Essential Graphics, or you can grab like the Graphics Workspace, or wherever you can see the Essential Graphics panel. And you're going to have a variety of things in here. You can browse stock right in here. I'm sure Tom might talk about some of that later. But you'll have templates that are already on your system as well. Adobe provides you with a bunch of free ones just as part of installing Premiere. And all you have to do is scroll through, find one that you like. There's search bars. There's all kinds of sorting stuff up here. But I'm just going to grab this one right here and just drag it onto a timeline, and boom, now I can use it, okay? I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Let me scoot this over. And you'll see this is just kind of a pretty simple little title here, your title. And this one was actually created in Premiere, so I kind of get access to all the stuff right here. So I can edit this, quite a bit, which is a double-edged sword depending on, who your user is. But you can see over here in the effect controls, actually all the keyframes that were used to create this animation are accessible in here if you want to mess with that stuff. But I'm just going to go with kind of the real basics today. I'm just going to change this to DACIA rules, right? Let's capitalize that, be proper. And so I updated the title, but all the animation, the wipe on, stuff like that, still there, right? And if I want to change the color of one of these to like a lovely, like, we'll go with like yeah, there we go. DACIA's nodding. Obviously, I need to do each of those individually, but you'll see I updated the color of that top one there. This isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but a great example of how easy it is to be changing this stuff, right? One thing I do want to point out, there's these kind of gray areas right here, and you see these down here on the clip. One thing that's really nice about these is you can use what's called responsive design time. There's responsive design for other like spatial stuff as well. So this is actually aware of like how wide your title is. This is all just kind of details you can build into this. One thing that's really cool, if I want this to last longer, I just drag this out and notice that little intro outro animation stuck there, and it just kind of accordioned out the middle. So now that same animation happens and it holds for as long as I need it to. And then whenever, however long this needs to be, and then it goes back off. So you can see how versatile and useful that can be. And honestly, like that kind of stuff, pretty easy to set up. Up here, I'm not going to get super into the details of this, but you can literally just drag this area or adjust the duration over here. So I just want to, kind of point out, like, these don't need to be scary or intimidating to set up. You can do, pretty useful titles and name graphics and stuff right here in Premiere and accomplish a lot of what you might need. I do want to point out, though, once you start getting into After Effects templates, the possibilities are pretty much limitless. I'm just going to grab another one here called Geometric Neon Glow Titles. So this is an After Effects built template. It takes just a little bit longer to load because it is essentially running After Effects in the background. But you'll notice the controls are quite a bit different because when you create one of these in After Effects, you can give the user exactly what you want them to have access to. And so here you'll see these are kind of simplified into little groups. And there's, colors I can update. I'll go for that same lovely green here. That's like the text glow, so it's not super visible here. I'll just really lean in. Adobe Red, right? There we go. And all the animation is built into this, just like you'd want, but you have all the editability that you would want here. You can update titles just like that. And there you go, updated. Sorry, visually this is like pretty ugly here, but I'm just kind of like pointing out how easy it can be to update these things. Even though this is like, a pretty complex looking animation, you have access to this and easily change the what it's saying. You can even change the typeface here. Whatever controls you've been given access to, it's all right there. I'll just point out one more thing that is a little bit more recent. I think it was implemented last year. One of you can maybe correct me. This is really cool, though. I'm going to grab one of these data-driven templates just to show off that this exists. Again, it takes a second to load some of these heavier ones sometimes. I'll kind of go just part way in so you can see what this is happening. This is an old election map from many years ago, so there's no need to get excited about anything recent. All the same kind of controls. You can move the map around and change the titles and stuff like that, right? But there's a really cool feature right here. This is all driven by spreadsheet data and built out in part of the After Effects template here. But you can set this up so that the Premiere user can just change these results right here. Or you could even have a properly formatted spreadsheet, literally just drop it into this box right here. And then it would update all of this. And again, it's animated. So super cool capabilities right here. And once you start thinking outside the box, like getting nerdy with After Effects, for example, everything is just a value in After Effects. A lot of the things are ultimately just numbers. So if you think of some of those possibilities, some really neat stuff that you could be doing with that. I'm just going to like super quick show you a thing that you could be doing here in Premiere. I'm just going to make a quick title. Maybe. Apparently I've forgotten how to make titles now that I'm on a stream. I should be able to just click in my program, right? Yeah. Do I have to
totally. Try from the edit tab.
Bye.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, probably I still had that one selected. That's why.
Yeah, I think that's why if After Effects Mogrt is selected, sometimes that action can be blocked.
Yep. Okay, so Kyle can't use Premiere or spell it either, obviously. So I can set up a title in here, and you'll see it kind of just makes it a layer like you would see in Photoshop or anything like that. I can add another layer for, say, a rectangle that I could put below this. And boy, I'm just loving these colors today. Yeah. See, I can kind of stretch that out. And I'm not going to get into the super details of building this out, but there's this responsive design that I kind of pointed out. You could be pinning this then to that text layer and tell it to like look at how big that is. So I could come back over here. I can edit this text and look at that, how the box updated. Cool. And so if I love that because it's so stylish, I could come up here to graphics and export as motion graphics template and then save that to my own library and use it whenever I want because I'm so proud of it, right?
Also cool trick, if you want to click on that text layer, Kyle. In the EGP.
In here? Yep.
If you go down below into appearance, there's a little checkbox that's called background. And if you check that on, you don't even have to build another shape. It just automatically adds a shape onto it. You can pick the color, you can add padding. That's actually one of my favorite things that I wish was in After Effects, to be honest.
Yeah, so the ease of this responsive design stuff in here is really awesome versus you do have to know a little bit of expressions coding to be able to set some of that up in After Effects. So this is really nice.
Yeah, super cool.
Okay, unless you want me to stay in there for a second, I'll just show you the real basics of building one of these in After Effects too, and then we can get to the good stuff with DACIA. Please let me know if there's a question or anything like that. But I'll just kind of show you again the real quick. Look at this beautiful composition here. I've got some text and a little bouncing ball, right? Easy peasy. So this works kind of the same way in here. You just need to put things in the Essential Graphics panel. And so I'm just going to open up Essential Graphics. And in After Effects, there's a lot of stuff you can add. And you could, go through and kind of see, there's a few exceptions of things that don't work in here currently, but there's a really handy little button, Solo Supported Properties. So you can just click on this, and now every property that can be added has been revealed down in your timeline. So that's pretty handy, right? I'm just going to add what's called the source text property. That's like the actual text input. So I'm going to drag that up. And I gave myself a fill color on this text, so I'll be able to change what color that is. I'll just put that up there. I'm going to change that to text color. It's good to label your controls nicely so that your user knows what it is. And let's just say, here's a good one. I don't know how we are for time. Do you want me to show my little expressions trick that DACIA that I did on the other time? Maybe, or Carolyn, you can tell me. You want a little expressions trick, or just
of course.
the short version here? Okay.
I think that's one of our features that is also underutilized because it's a little complex. But I think that we've been creating more and more resources to help people kind of get on board with that. So I would love to see it if you've got an entry level expression for me.
Yes,
totally.
Please. Always.
So this is a thing that is really useful in these, just being able to turn a layer on and off, which is, like maybe I want this background to be here sometimes, but have the option to turn it off. And, I could just put this layer's opacity in here. And so the person would have like the slider control. That might be fine. But if you want something that's a little more elegant, or you want to be able to drive maybe several layers by just one on-off switch, I'll show you how to do that real quick. So I'm going to right-click and add an effect, expression controls, checkbox control. You'll see there's quite a few in here. These just exist to be drivers for other things. They don't do anything on their own. So I'm going to add this checkbox control to this layer. And you'll see this is just a simple on-off switch. It's off, it's on. But nothing's hooked up to it yet, so it doesn't do anything. Now, there is a more complicated way to set this up, and I think a lot of people might do that at first. You could say, like, if this control is on, then be 100, else be 0 is what that code means. And so that works. Okay, but that's maybe a little scarier than some people want. There's an easier way to do that, and you just have to think for a second about what this control is doing. This is a binary. It's off or on. And in computer speak, that means 0 or 1, right? So if you think back to about 3rd grade math, anything times 0 is what? 0. Anything times 1 is itself. So this is actually a really useful way to not only have an on-off switch, but you can keep this value editable, this opacity value. So if you instead say value which means the value of this property before any expressions. And then multiply times its little asterisk, and then you just point it to this thing, just pick whip it. So now, if this is off, whatever value this is 0, doesn't matter. But if this is on, this is whatever value it is. And so now it's a little easier to adjust, plus you have this on-off control, which I could just boop, drag right on up here, call it, say, BG on-off, right? And now I've got this nice little toggle for my user. You could connect other things to that, whatever you like. I'll just quickly
have access to the opacity control.
Yep, it's 92%. Yay, the perfect opacity for this background, right? So I'll just export this real quick and just sort of prove, yes, I need to save it first. I did give it a name, and here you have an opportunity to say where you want to send it, give it keywords, some other details, right? But just to point this out, I'll hop back over to Premiere and come to browse. Poof, there is my amazing template that I just made.
Whoa.
Right here. Whoa, look at all this beauty. And once I've got it selected, I just come over here to edit. I was in browse, now I'm in edit. And here's my my text editing field. I can change the color of that text to the beautiful bright red here. I can turn the background on and off. So you can see exactly whatever controls you want for yourself or for your user. You can just feed them right out here. And kind of the possibilities of what you want to do with this are just up to your imagination.
I just can't get over the fact that you have After Effects, Premiere, and Wirecast open right now, and that your machine is not dying on the field. I'm very impressed by that.
Oh, this is nothing.
Kyle's got the higher plan with his cable company. He's
He
got
done worse.
broadband.
You want me to open Photoshop and Illustrator too?
Oh, you get
Do a
wild
test.
now.
Yeah.
You're just flexing now?
Yeah.
Okay. Dacia, do you have something you want to show us?
Oh man, I have so many things. First of all, Kyle, that was a great
Yeah,
landscape intro into Mogrt lands. And I think one of the things to point out too is that the Mogrts that you can get on stock, which by the way, you can get a ton of free Mogrts that are awesome.
Yes.
And these are really good to sort of like get your head around what's possible. So I really recommend people, just as a learning tool, to go download a bunch of the stock Mogrts that are free and just see what's up. You can actually open them in After Effects, and I've learned a lot of tricks, kind of getting to peek behind the curtain of how different artists create things, and it's really incredible. You know, After Effects there's a million ways to do everything, and it's really fun to learn all the different ways to do things. But what I love about the Mogrt that you made, Kyle, is that it's very simple and limited. And so that's the thing to know too. It's like if you're working on a small communications team and you don't want your editors to be able to choose bright red and teal, seafoam green. You're like, no, those are not our brand colors. You can for sure make these in such a way that they put the right amount of bumpers around folks.
Guide rails.
Like you can change the text, but you can only use these kinds of fonts. Maybe not, definitely no Comic Sans in my design. So that's the cool thing about these. They have a very big spectrum of like what's possible.
Dustin, before you jump in, I have a couple of questions.
For sure.
So there was a couple of them from the chat pod, from Roland. Hi, Roland. Good to see you. Roland, I remember seeing him in some of the streams from last summer. These questions say, how do the new media replacement features work with responsive design time? Is that something that you're going to cover?
I am. I will be covering that shortly. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about it. What is media replacement? What's going on? I don't know. Let's find out. Gonna do a little sharesies here. Okay.
There we go.
You guys see my screen? Awesome.
Yes, indeed.
Let's hide this business. We don't need to see all that. Oh, why did it have to do that though? Okay, cool. So check it. Think about what's going on. I watch a lot of TV that I just say is because I'm researching for work, so that's what I call it.
Checks out.
And in that, I find, kind of like what's going on in the world and the styles of motion graphics in particular. And one thing that's become really popular is like these little, this was from Freeform, and it was like, oh, we're playing solo later tonight at 9 p.m. or something. You're watching one show and they're like letting you know what's going on in the other. And it was so rad. I wish I had the actual video of it. But basically, first we see the characters and then they fade away. We see Solo will be on Friday at 9. And then the Millennium Falcon like flies out. Like, wow, super cool, right? So this would be an example of a graphic that you could make and then replace the media from. So here on my channel, which is an all animals channel, we're watching this show on dolphins. But then we got a show coming up called Pet Wars that's happening on Friday. And those guys are just so cute. And then
wait, what do you mean Pet Wars? What kind of show is this?
Who's cuter?
Wars?
You tell me. You tell me. Puppies or kittens? I don't know. I can't decide. It's a cute off, basically, right? Okay, so I've created this Mogrt so that, one, you can change the text. Maybe the show shouldn't be called Pet Wars. Maybe it should be called Pets Rule. I don't know. But the point is that, maybe it's not going to be about pets at all. And so we've got this new sitch here. I'm going to just do this, and I'm going to erase that and pretend it didn't happen. I just wanted to make sure I grabbed the right layer before I demoed this. So, I've got my, my After Effects project here. I've pre-comped some things. I've got this happening here, so I've got a track mat going so that'll disappear under, into thin air there. I go back into, this is just, it's a complicated After Effects setup. But check this out. I want my editor, or I want to later in the future, I want someone to be able to change that image out. Like maybe it's not going to be called Pet Wars. It's going to be a different show, maybe like the Kyle Hamrick show. I don't know. So
I would watch that show.
All I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop the layer up into the EGP, the Essential Graphics panel. This can be a comp. It can be a video layer like MP4, MOV, AVI. All the files.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a still image. It can be a PSD file. It can be an Illustrator file. It can be many things, and you just literally have to drag and drop it up. Boom, and then I export it out. And then I'm going to kick it back to Kyle as a proof of concept here.
I'm going to prove all the concepts.
Let's prove it. Let's see that this works. So y'all don't think I'm just doing some funny business over here.
Right,
Like,
let's switch to Kyle's screen.
This is for real.
So this is me. We're definitely proving that this is mine, and you'll see it in a second here. So I'm back here in Premiere, and you'll see I've got that exact same template open right here. Here's all the controls that DACIA set up. Again, I'm just going to pick that just lovely red color, right? There we go. Yes. And let's change this to, we'll just say Kyle for now. I don't know. But you'll see, I have all these controls. I can change, the subtitle. There's movement in here. But the thing that's really cool, I have this very serious picture of myself that I'm offering with no context whatsoever. And you'll see it's already been cut out in Photoshop, right? And this was a video file that DACIA used over here, but I can just take this and just drag it right over here, boop, put it on there, and you'll see it's in here. And you're like, okay, well, that's great, but I maybe want to reposition this a little bit. Look right here. You've got your scale and position stuff that's just built right into this. So now I can just very simply like move this over so that I'm kind of in the right part of this. And reveal just the right amount of myself here, and it's still all animated the way it needs to be. There you go. It draws on, and then here comes Kyle. Great.
This
and again,
like
see how easy that was.
On some like garage rock version of The Bachelor.
Yeah. Well, we can have a whole other stream exploring the origins of this and like
Of
what
this version of
show
Kyle.
this is. Yeah. But it's just that easy, you know. If you set the thing up right, it can be really easy for your editors, for yourself, whatever you want.
For sure. So let's kick it back to me, Caroline. I want to go over kind of some, you know, there's a lot of different ways that this can be used. One thing that I really came to mind right away is the classic Parks and Recs intro. You know, you've got a lot of animated tiles coming in. This isn't something that can easily be done in Premiere without a lot of work, you know, and especially if you want to make it look super smooth, like making it in After Effects with the camera and, like, you know, making sure that those animation curves are looking good. You know, you get it all set up and then basically give someone the option of being able to switch out all these things. And I did make one of those, but it was my first one and I didn't love it. So I just kind of want to run through some ideas and give you all some, like, you know, get your creative juices flowing. This is another example that I found out in the real world. I don't know if y'all watched Homecoming, Sam Esmail's new show. Oh man, that show was rad. But this goes on. This is all Trello would let me even like put up. You know, Up in the Air is another one that's just like, I just love this movie intro. And these are all kind of more like slideshowy things, you know. Let's see, let's skip over to where we start. There we go. So here we've got boom, and we've got text moving in, and you know, you get the idea. There's a lot here that can be done that's really cool. But so a couple of other examples that I really found were awesome are timelines. You know, timelines are really popular in documentary style shows. So for those you know, Chicago Bulls fan, I don't know if y'all watched the boom, super simple. I don't know if y'all watched The Last Dance about the Chicago Bulls, but they use that a lot. They would just basically have one image and kind of go back in time. And so that's what I'm gonna show y'all next. And I'm just gonna jump into Premiere for this one because, well, actually, let's just go in. Okay, so I'm gonna change that. I've got my puppies here. So this is my dog, Sam, and I wanted to, you know, put a little family album together of who his grandfather was back in the day. So we go through here and go back in time, and there is his grandfather, Oliver. I don't know. Maybe that's his name. And, you know, just as easy. There it is in Premiere. We look at it. I've got my present controls, my past controls, and then just as easily I can go into make a new one and change some things, and then, oh, who's that guy? Just me, shamelessly showing everyone in the world that I once had really long hair against my will. I did not consent to that, for the record. So, you know, you can do the logos, you can do the slideshows, you can do timelines. But one thing that I'm really excited about as a use case that I don't, I'm like, I hope people can kind of wrap their head around this sitch, which is that, you know, for the longest time, Mogrts were about titles, lower thirds, like those kinds of motion graphics, very text heavy. But media replacement is kind of giving us this new opportunity to create like effects packages. You know, there's a lot of really expensive plugins that allow folks to make certain things that, you know, you might not have the money to buy the extra third-party tools, in that you can do them in After Effects, but it's really complicated to learn. So for those of y'all that are out there and do know how to really, you know, stack effects on top of each other to do really fun things, this is a really cool opportunity too. So here I've got this Frida, and there's, I don't know if y'all can see like all the crazy outlines, but there's some chromatic aberration happening. There's her coming up, and then these outlines above, and you know, there it is. I just put the comp up into there. You can imagine with me, the background has also changed. And then I go into Premiere, and this is how easy it is. So here's, it's already rendered here. So, you know, that's kind of the look, but maybe, you know, there's some kids involved and we don't want the kids to see us smoking, you know. So how about a cat? Because that's my favorite. So here's what I'm going to do first. You can drag and drop media directly into the Essential Graphics panel, but say you're going to use something a couple of times. So I've got this kitty cat that I need a green screen. Boop, boop, boop. I'm going to go in here and select my Ultra key real quick. Drop that on to this sitch. Where are my effect controls? Here we go. You want to just do that business. Okay, let's go back here. And now we're going to, I'm going to show you this. Here's that sequence that I just made. And I'm going to drag it onto there. And then I've already, like cooking show style, rendered a little guy out. And hey, it's a kitty now. I can change the colors. I can change the text. I've got this cool cat. I could change the background, but I think I'm really digging the situation back there. So you can do that. Another one that I love, shout out to Ben Marriott. If y'all aren't following Ben Marriott on the YouTubes, I highly suggest it because he's an amazing artist. And, you know, something that people are really digging are these VHS vibes. You know, people really like the kind of old school 90s or back, you know, situation. So similarly, I just like follow his tutorial. It was so cool. I learned a lot of stuff. And then I threw in this background footage. I've got some banding lines, some distortion, some CRT dots to make the blurriness a little bit more intense. The scale of those dots a little bit bigger to make it look kind of like that old school TV was just really the resolution back in our days, kids. You don't even know. It wasn't pretty, y'all. This is what TV looked like when you had rabbit ears and an antenna. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all remember.
I know what you're saying.
I know what you're saying. And we didn't have remote controls either.
We didn't have a remote control. You used to have to get up.
No. I used to tell my little sister to do it for me.
Yeah,
that was terrible. That was not a good day.
That is terrible. So check it. Yeah, I just had this little spaceman dude. Let's get some like, oh yeah, change the color on those VHS. I made the banding a little bit bigger. You know, I've put in all these cool little extra tools in there. And so one of the things that I just want to get y'all thinking about is like people love effects on their video. But all those effects that come with Instagram and come with the TikToks, like they kind of like they're what they are. And so you're not really given a lot of ability to customize and kind of create your own thing. And so these can actually be like almost like mini plugins that you're bringing into into Premiere to make your video look cool. And then, you know, for the really short kind of videos, just one last thing here. You know, I think that like a little cool slide transition is dope. So here's that. I just replaced the media on that one. And boom, that's cool. We've got that situation going. Why? There. Oh, yeah, there it is. All right, cool. So just again, to show how easy it is, I'm just going to pick this camping dive for the second image and then campfire up here. You can just drag directly in. You can do... If you don't want to scale a lot of things manually, there's this nice little drop down here that's pretty cool. And then, you know, boom, come on, play for me. There you go. And to Roland's question earlier, before I forget, so yes, you can use responsive design time with these. So the original size of this one is only that big, but you can make this. And so for those of you who don't know, you can easily make a responsive design time Mogrt in After Effects by, let me go back here, by creating what's called a protected region. So in this case, I've got some animation that starts here and ends about there. So my favorite way to do this is to use the work bar because we've got some nice little keyboard shortcuts to do that, and I can just right click on the work bar and then I say create protected region. And so now this means that when I bring it into Premiere, I can make it as long or as short as I want, and it maintains that animation just the same way that Kyle was showing in the Premiere version. But what does it do with what we're calling media replacement. What is taffy time? That's the secret, this
Code name.
hidden menu way that we talk about it. What does it do, right? So let me just put in some media, and I guess I'll put this jellyfish in there. Sure. It might not be long enough. It just holds the right. So what's happening here? I made it long, but the animation's still kicking. I can make it even longer if I want, but what is it gonna do? So what you can do is you click on these, the actual thumbnail in the UGP, and it gives you it opens up a sequence that has that content in it. And in it, it should give you, a sign of how big your time container is. I'm unclear why this one isn't doing that. And that is sometimes how life goes. And so I have to just not cry about it live here in Adobe Care. Okay, here we go. So we found a bug, but this is the idea right here. So you see these danger stripes, this is here to tell you this is the size of the time container that you need to fill. So if you've got a piece of footage that is only 3 seconds long, but you need to fill 5 seconds long, you can do your retiming here in Premiere. You can just time stretch it, change the speed, duration. I like using just the percentage. That's super fine for me. But in our responsive design time, we're not ever gonna retime your footage for you. We're not gonna slow it down if you make the Mogrt 20 seconds long. All that's really happening is that time duration is just that time container's been made longer, bigger, and you just need more footage to fill it. That's pretty much it. But the cool thing about this is that since you have these as tiny little sequences, is you can actually, do multiple cuts inside of here. I mean, it's literally a nested sequence. So you can kind of do whatever you want. And so if you want, a couple of different shots in there, you can use this and edit just like you would anything else. It's pretty flexible in that way. You have all the access to your typical Premiere tools in there. So that's pretty much it, y'all. I feel like I've covered so many things.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I also wanted to know, are you in the latest version of After Effects when you've been making these, the one with the multi-frame rendering?
I am in the 18.0
Awesome.
version of After Effects. That's right. Yes. Yes,
Cool.
I am.
If you're in the chat button, you don't know that version came out last night, and there's lots of good stuff.
That's
so you might have
that's
to
in beta though. It's not
check
in
for
this
updates.
release.
You might have to sit and wait a while before you get access to those things, but those are available to you now. All right.
In beta, I just want to say the multi-frame rendering stuff, which I'm really pumped about, is available in beta.
Got it. Important.
And yeah, that is a difference. But that's a big plug for the beta. If you download the beta app, you can pretty much have access to all the new stuff that we're working on and provide feedback. And they can live side by side. You can have the release version too. There's no conflict there. And we really do read all the things that you send. So try to be nice sometimes too. Happy to help. I'm a person who likes kittens and puppies. So remember that. But yeah, it's super fun. Join the beta program. But just to, kind of roll back to media replacement, there's a bunch of new media replacement Mogrts available on stock for you to start playing now. And, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll kick that off.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And if you make these templates, you are able to upload them to our stock directory and redistribute them, have your community members use them, share them with your friends. You can also make a buck off of it, which is, I know it's important from time to time. So Tom's here to talk about some of our guidelines about what to look out for while you're designing and building your Mogrt, and how to submit it for approval. Tom?
Yeah, well, thank you, Caroline. And Dacia, I love the kitty Mogrt. I think you should upload that to Adobe Stock. I think it would do really well. So
That's my dream. It's been my
I'd like
goal
to
to
work
have
with you
my
on that.
Mogrt on stock. That's good to hear. I'll
Let's do
submit
it.
it. I hope I get accepted. Okay.
All right, we'll
Thank you.
take care of you. Well, thank you. Let me share my screen here. As mentioned before, can you see my screen?
Mhm.
Yeah, we see you.
Okay, great. As mentioned before, you can make, not only do we have customers that buy Adobe Stock assets, but you can actually be an artist with us, and you can license motion graphic templates with Adobe Stock, and make money, which is always awesome. So let me go through and just sort of explain to you why Adobe Stock exists. Why do it exist? Because creatives around the world are under a lot of pressure today because of what we call content velocity. 20, 25 years ago, when you're working with video, you're producing video mostly for film and TV. But now, as everybody knows, there's social media, there's TikTok, there's Facebook, there's YouTube, there's streaming, there's corporate video, there's video for websites, and there's so much more content to create. So you have to deliver a lot more content a lot quicker, and Adobe Stock really helps communicators, and creatives keep up with all this demand. And that's where Adobe Stock comes in. We've got a world-class collection of assets. Our Smart Search is powered by Adobe Sensei, which is a proprietary framework. We've got integrated workflows into apps like After Effects, Premiere Pro, Photoshop. And we've got great licensing rights and administrative features for our customers. And we also have a world-class collection. So we've got over 250 million assets on Adobe Stock. We license photos, vectors, illustrations, video. We just launched audio. We've got motion graphic templates, design templates in 3D. We've got 2 million new assets added weekly on average, and we're working with 90,000 active monthly artists from all over the world. We license video. We're working with partners like GoPro and Pond5 and Showtime, and working with partners all over the world. If you create video, you can license video on Adobe Stock. We've got over 20 million 4K and HD clips that are being licensed on our site. We also license audio. We launched this in June. We're working with 2 partners, Epidemic Sound and Jamendo. You can get royalty-free music to accompany your video and motion graphics. And what I'm here to talk about to you today are motion graphic templates. We've got motion graphic templates that you, as a motion designer, can license on Adobe Stock. So what are they? As DACIA and Kyle explained already, beautifully designed, pre-built, dynamic motion graphics, built in AE, but licensed within Premiere Pro and on Adobe Stock's website. So it's fully optimized for Creative Cloud, worry-free legal compliance for our customers, and we've got thousands of templates to choose from.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and they're flexible too. So when a customer downloads one of these beautiful Mogrts, you can make dynamic changes to your text, to your color, to the size, the layout, and the position, and really help customers bring their video projects to life. So we've got 6 categories. If you go on Adobe Stock and you go to motion graphic templates, there's 6 categories. You've got titles and text overlays, which are our most popular category. We've also got lower thirds. We've got transitions. We've got backgrounds. We've got infographics. And then we've got social media elements. And like sometimes people ask me, what are social media elements? Well, they're buttons. They're end cards for YouTube. They're emojis. I can talk to you about this a lot, but that's basically what they are. And they're changing every day because social media is changing every day. So it's really, really fascinating. And I think a lot of our artists who recognize patterns and watch TV, like Dacia was saying before, and YouTube and streaming, you can pick up on these trends and you can be first to market on Adobe Stock and really come up with great ideas and make a killing on and do really well on certain motion graphics. And as I said before, this is a little time lapse here. This is a motion graphic template in Premiere. As Kyle said before, Essential Graphics Panel, you can go right to Essential Graphics Panel, and customers can license those directly within Premiere Pro, which is super awesome. And we've got different types of price tiers on Adobe Stock. It's pretty simple. You can get them for free, or a customer pays $19.99 for one motion graphic template. They can download that template. It's royalty free. They can use it as many times as they want in perpetuity, which means pretty much forever. And we've got free templates. So we often work with artists. We commission templates, and we make sure they are super optimized for our apps, and they are available for free within Premiere Pro and on the Adobe Stock website. In Premiere Pro, you just click on the free checkbox in the EGP in the Essential Graphics panel. And as DACIA said, go do that and go to Stock and click on Standard Content. You can see that on the lower right-hand corner. That means free on our website. Download our Mogrts, open them up in After Effects, and play around with them. You can see how they're built, especially with our new Media Replacement Mogrts, which we have on our site currently live right now. Download our Media Replacement Mogrts, open them up in After Effects, and see how they're built, and build your own. So let me go back, stop sharing my screen. Tell you about how you can work with us. So you can actually email us at motion@adobe.com. That is motion@adobe.com. You email us. You can send us your portfolio links or your reel or just your work or your website. We'll evaluate your work. We're looking for what I said before. We're looking for somebody who knows how to create titles and lower thirds and backgrounds and social media elements. That helps. We can sort of gauge if you're a fit for this, but if you're a good motion designer, that's also a clear indicator that you might be a fit as well. So email us at motion@adobe.com, include your reel, include your website. We'll take a look at your work, and if we think you're a good fit, what we'll do is we'll run a test with you. We'll have you build a couple of Mogrts. We'll get you our submission guidelines. You'd have to follow those submission guidelines, and we have those Spark pages. I think those will be shared with you, our submission guidelines. And we'll do a test, and we'll see if you're a good fit. And we've got a great rotation of artists building great motion graphic templates for us. What else can I talk about? Trends and types of stuff that's wanted, like modern, minimal templates that can be used for a wide array of.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, multi-uses are really great. Holiday, seasonal, motion trend, sports, wedding, corporate, gradient. Content gap
effect everywhere.
Which is big. Neon's big. 80s big. 90s are big. People love arrows. We're doing call outs and pointing at things and like how-to videos. Gaming. Like kinetic stat.
The world's your oyster, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what you got. I want to pose a challenge to you.
Yeah. So we would love to see you email in and show us your work, and we'd love to work with you.
Fantastic. Hey, thanks so much, Tom. Those links are down in the description below. There's links to Spark pages with the guidelines listed that Tom just covered. There are links to the section on stock where you can have access to tons of Mogrts. A lot of them are free. A lot of really great ones are free. And there are now Media Replacement Mogrts that are free, that are available now, that you can go ahead and download and play around with and kind of get some ideas to maybe build your own someday. Yeah, I mean, I think we've covered our bases. I think that's it.
I think
the
so.
one thing I told you was remiss. I was really remiss on something was that this works with essential properties in AE2, but that's like another show. We're gonna have to follow up on that one.
It's a whole other level.
It gets wild. I know this was focused on Mogrts, but I did just want to tease with that.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a blast. So we will definitely be having some of these teammates back on the channel. You can subscribe below as well, and you will get notified every single time we are about to go live or we will go live. Next week, we are streaming covering the new Captions workflow in Premiere Pro. This has been a pain point for quite some time. So to be able to display these new features, some friends of mine designed it. I'm really happy with it. And we have a really short tutorial available on the channel right now, but we will have some product team members on the channel to talk about kind of like the hows and the whys to get the most out of it, explaining some of the differences between open captions versus closed captions versus subtitles. And are those the same things? I don't know. We're going to be learning together. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining. We really appreciate your time. This has been a blast. This has been great. I hope to see you back next week. Bye. Have a great rest of your day.